A to Z Mysteries, Super Edition 6, The Castle Crime, by Ron Roy. Chapter 4. Dink walked to the door. He listened but didn't hear anything else. "Who is it?" he asked. "Jack," a deep voice said. Dink heard more scratching. "Let me in." Dink gulped. "Jack who?" he asked. Then he heard his father's laugh. "Jack the Ripper." Dink unlocked the door and yanked it open. "Very funny, Dad," Dink said. "I thought so," Mr. Duncan said. He walked into the room and took off his damp jacket and cap. "Mr. Duncan, we've been reading more about the Queen's jewels being stolen," Josh said. Dink's dad nodded. "It's all anyone's talking about," he said. "Unbelievable how the robbers pulled it off. Imagine disguising themselves as the Queen's own grandsons." "It could have been an inside job," Josh said. "I'll bet someone at Buckingham Palace stole the jewels." "Yeah," Dink said. "Maybe the butler did it." Mr. Duncan smiled. "Sounds like you kids want to solve another mystery," he said. "There's a monster reward," Josh said. Mr. Duncan walked back to the door. "I'm taking us out to dinner tonight," he said, looking at his watch. "How about 7:30? "Thanks, Dad," Dink said. "See you later." "Keep your door locked," Mr. Duncan said to Dink. "They never caught Jack the Ripper. He might be hiding around here somewhere." Dink laughed. "Josh will protect us," he said, but he locked the door behind his father. "I still think the robbers might be someone in Buckingham Palace," Josh said. "You mean someone who works there?" Dink asked. He flopped on his bed. "Yeah," Josh said. "In the movies, it's always the butler or the gardener." "Well, if it was an inside job," Ruth Rose said, "why wouldn't it be someone at Windsor Castle? She was driving there for her birthday party." "You're right," Dink said. "The newspaper said she stopped her car a few meters from the Windsor Castle gate." "How much is a meter?" Josh asked. Ruth Rose grabbed her guidebook and flipped the index. "A meter is a little more than 1 yard," she said. "And she saw the getaway car," Josh added. "Maybe she remembers the license plate number." "She told the police about the bumper sticker," Dink said, "but no license plate." Ruth Rose sat on the end of Dink's bed. Josh stretched out on his own bed. They looked at each other. "We should go to Windsor Castle," Ruth Rose announced. "Why?" Dink asked. "To look for clues," Ruth Rose said. Josh sat up. "What kind of clues?" he asked. "We won't know until we find them, Josh," Ruth Rose said. Josh grinned at her and Dink. "So, when do you want to go?" "Really?" Ruth Rose said. "Sure, why not?" Josh said. "It would be cool to have our pictures in the London Times. Connecticut kids catch crooks." "We can go tomorrow," Ruth Rose said. "I'll ask Damon how to get there." The next morning, the kids crowded in front of Damon at the hotel counter. "We want to go to Windsor Castle," Ruth Rose said. "How do we get there?" Today her color was blue, from her sneakers to her hat. "Easy peasy," Damon said. "Walk along Baker Street until you get to Marylebone Road. Then go stand on the other side of Marylebone. Watch for bus 23. There will be a lot of other buses, so be sure to wait for the one that says Berkshire or Windsor Castle? What's Berkshire? Dink asked. The county where Windsor Castle is located, Damon said. Can we use our London passes? Dink asked. Damon nodded. Yes, but only so many people are allowed into the castle at one time. You may not be able to get on a tour today. The grounds are beautiful, though, and you can walk around. You might even see deer or peacocks. Thanks, Damon, Ruth Rose said. Have fun, he said. And watch those peacocks. They like to bite tourists. The kids hurried up Baker Street. They crossed Marylebone Road and stood next to a bus stop sign. It would have to rain again, Josh said. He was wearing a hooded sweatshirt. Dink and Ruth Rose wore baseball caps. But it's only light rain, Dink commented. Back home it pours in April. They watched several buses go by. None was number 23. Cars and trucks whizzed by, splattering rain everywhere. Finally, the right bus came along. They showed the driver their London passes. We're going to see Windsor Castle, Dink said. The driver grinned. Be careful not to get close to the peacocks, he said. They'll take one of your fingers clean off you. The kids sat behind the driver. 25 minutes later, he pulled up to a tall fence. The gate was open. Just walk up that long drive to the castle, the driver said. A bus comes here about every 45 minutes till 6. After that, you're on your own. The kids hopped off the bus and walked through the black iron gates. Soft rain plopped on the trees, bushes, and bright green lawn. The first thing they saw was a peacock, with his tail in the air. He stared at the kids with shiny black eyes. The kids stopped. He doesn't look happy to see us, Josh whispered. Why don't you go pet him? Dink asked. No way, Josh said. I like having 10 fingers. Ruth Rose opened her pack. She pulled out a small bunch of grapes that she'd snitched from breakfast. Watch this, she said. Ruth Rose waved the grapes toward the peacock. Then she threw them as far as she could. When the peacock chased the fruit, the kids ran up the long drive. Nice arm, Josh told Ruth Rose. Easy peasy, Ruth Rose said.